This is a very interesting way of how I'm choosing to record or do this video, because I'm doing it via StreamYards and how I'm recording it. And it's very rare how I actually do it, but I figured I would do it in this format because it's almost like a reaction style type video, and it's much easier to edit with me doing the video in this format. So I just have to give that disclaimer right ahead of time. Now here we are again, and yes, I know y'all probably, oh God, Taurean, why are you talking about Myron yet again? But this one's very interesting. This is a very interesting and unexpected thing, because I think this is the wake-up call that Myron truly needed. Because yes, we have seen him get several wake-up calls in the past. I mean, from the demonetization, him going in those dub S spaces unwarranted on multiple occasions, and him being told on himself and getting kicked out over and over again, but he keeps going back and a glutton for punishment. And then he also continues to post all these type of things on social media as it pertains to Black people, especially Black Americans, and just nothing just seems to work. He just always seems to always want to talk his and pop his stuff. And even after this, he probably still going to. But this right here was very interesting, and I was going back and forth of how I'm going to tackle this. So you have this video that went out there, and we're going to go through it and break it down, where you had Walter, his co-host, then you had Dom Lecrae and Tommy Sotomayor and Myron Gaines. And let me tell you, I've gone in on all four of these individuals at least one time or another. It's no good guy sitting at this table. I'm just putting that out there for you right now. But what I find to be interesting is that 3 out of the 4 individuals on here were saying stuff that we have been saying for quite some time, especially when it pertains to Black Americans. And you had the one being Myron, who was quiet as a church mouse literally the entire time. He uttered some things, but he really didn't say much. And that's the most quietest that I've ever heard him be. And he literally, his facial expressions, as you'll see throughout the video, pretty much tell themselves. So I'm gonna go ahead now, and we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started.
We got our race, Black people got jumped. We are the only demographic in America that has truthfully been targeted by the government. No one has been touched the way we have. Nobody. We literally have our towns bombed.
Well, ironically, look at, just pause it right here. This is one of the faces right here that Myron makes, and look at how he's looking directly over at Walter. It's almost like, I don't know if it's a death stare or a nervous stare, like, okay, I don't know where they're headed with this, but let me just continue to lean in. You had Donald Lecrae literally just say that we are the only group of people who has been touched by the government. Our towns were bombed. If y'all know that I did a whole Black Massacre series over the course of last year, talking about as many towns that were destroyed, going back to the 1500s all the way up into more recent times. It was a combination of towns being destroyed, also as well as different massacres that fell upon Black people. A lot of times there were massacres and the destruction of the towns that coincided with each other. And he brought that up. And of course, like I said, that's preaching to the choir, because that's something that we already know about as it pertains to our history. But look at Myron right there. Usually Myron would have an interjection at this point right here to combat what Dom Lecrae just said, but notice he didn't say anything. He just sat there, and notice this is how he's going to look for pretty much the entirety of this video. Mind you, this video is about 2 minutes and 21 seconds long.
You know what? Hold on. You know what they do as well? They come into the space and say, "Oh, he's status and power. I'll be your friend for a little bit. Yep, buddy. I'll use you. And then once you finish, you get banned. Bye-bye."
That part right there, when he said that was, again, everything that's being said right here is pretty much a subliminal dig at Myron. All they did not do is say his name. And mind you, Myron is sitting right there at the same table as them, and they were literally talking about him to his face without even saying his name. And I know that he had to have internalized that, because he didn't push back against it, and he would have looked foolish saying, "Are you talking about me?" They would have like, "Well, duh, Captain Obvious, of course they're talking about you. Who else are they talking about?"
Bro, yeah. And now, gosh, dude, it's in plain sight.
You see, yeah, they walk your ass into the fire and just it's Operation Get Behind the Darkie.
Yeah.
Look at Myron's face. Look at his face. Look at him. Like he's just like, yeah. He has nothing to say. The other three at the table have been talking the whole time so far, laughing and giggling and just getting their word in. And Myron hasn't said a thing yet. Nothing.
Hold on.
Look, hold on. Let me rewind that back a little bit. That's what I like about the reaction part. Look at how Tommy's pointing, laughing at him, just like Nelson on the Simpsons. Ha ha! That's literally what he did. He did the Nelson ha ha point and laugh at him. And look at how his face looks as he looks towards the camera. Look at his face. He knows he knows that they are talking about him. He knows it. That's why he looked at the camera like, yep, they're talking about me, but I'm just going to let them cook. I mean, at this point, that's all he can do. See, the thing is, Myron has embarrassed himself enough times that he has become the rear end of the joke. He has no one to blame but himself. Let's continue.
Tommy. And then when you get banned, they say, "Oh, nigga, you did it to yourself."
Yes.
Oh,
what did I just say? What did I just say? That he did it to himself. They're talking about him. He did it to himself, and Walter literally just said what I said. He did it to himself because he did do it to himself. He has no one to blame but himself. That's why, again, another reason why he's not. That's why he is not combating back and saying anything. He knows he's being talked about.
Yes.
And then they say, "Oh, this dark, he thought he was smart. He's dumb as
Bro,
fuck."
yes, bro.
It happens all the time.
Truth, bro. Yes.
Yep.
It's crazy,
They
bro.
will look at you, race.
look at his face.
They will look at you.
Myron is like, man, he's going through it right now. He is going through it right now. And keep in mind, when Walter keeps saying something about Darky, he's talking about Myron because that's what they was referring to him in that space. Now, it would have been too on the nose, ironically, because Myron does have that gonzo nose. It would have been too on the nose if Walter would have said sand N-word, because they did call him that. If y'all remember, and go back and listen to the live that I did, they called him that. They referred to him as that. But he kept going back anyway.
They will look at you, race, like, yeah, he did it to himself. When you have all these other different races that will crash out, and the crash out is always 10 times worse than the blacks.
Yeah, and then they say, "Oh, he thought he was one of us." No, you're not.
Hey!
You're that monkey.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll let you know.
They called me. I said,
And you want to know what's so crazy? Another reason why they can relate to this so bad is because you have 1, 2 right here who have gone through it. You know, remember recently Tommy had got into it with Richard Spencer, and Richard Spencer said, like, pretty much said, like, went in on him. And the thing is, like, how do people not be able to check Richard Spencer of all people? Roland Martin didn't do it, and Tommy couldn't do it. So he would know from experience because it happened with him. And Donald Lecrae, you know, he likes to be all around that crowd, and they done checked him so many times. It's ridiculous. Now, as far as Walter goes, he's an extension of Myron, but I don't know if it's gone as far as him going into those spaces, because I never seen him go in those spaces. Myron has definitely gone in those spaces. As we already know, we have the audio proof. And again, glutton for punishment.
I said, hey, hold on a minute. Y'all the one that's complaining about news all the damn time. Y'all, it's supposed to be y'all country.
Yeah.
At the small amount of taking over your shit like that, that's a yo problem. You're not gonna get me. Yeah, yes. You're not gonna get me, who I know you don't like, to fight this fight for you when I know you're putting me out front. So when I lose, like you said, you've been in my space. Now you taking my people. Now you walking differently than I was walking because you're smart enough to know not to do that.
Facts.
And I hear a lot of people that.
And see, that's a topic right there that Myron likes to talk about so much. And see, and that's the other thing. He thought if he talked about those folks the way that PC does, that would get him in. But the thing is, no matter how much Myron does it, it doesn't work. And it didn't work because, remember, he's gotten demonetized they got demonetized on YouTube. They got demonetized, I think, on Twitch. They've gotten banned on various social media platforms. He lost his monetization on X or Twitter. He had to open up a whole new account because he can't even use the other one. He's practically locked out of that one, and to just continue engagement farming, mainly to go with black people, because that's the only way he can get attention is by doing that, as y'all have seen through other things that I've talked about when it involves him. Just like when his girlfriend did the whole National Boyfriend Day, he had to find a way to manage to bring black women into it for whatever reason, and just go from there. Like I said, this like Buzz Lightyear said in the movie Toy Story to Woody, "You are a sad, strange little man." That line works perfectly for Myron.
It would be like, well, the really started attacking the white man after like 2005, etc. If that is true, and you're making that much noise about some shit that happened in 2005 to now, what situation do you think we the fuck in?
Worse?
Dude, our shit, like, bro, literally on our chains, in the chains, it shows they had the bit on some of our chains. Like, this is crazy. It's even as a Masonic.
And look at Myron. Look at him. He's itching. He wants to say something so bad. I would almost feel bad for him if he wasn't a POS, an anti-black one at that. He wants to say something so bad, but he knows that he can't. It's almost like he's being it's almost like there's a steel plate against his mouth and he can't say any, almost like he's under a gag order or something, and he can't say what he really wants to say. It's a sad state of affairs, but I love it.
Symbol was on some of our chains. The slave ships were Jewish. They weren't Christian. We've been fighting this and been losing. It's like, what do you think happens to a group of people that fight these motherfuckers for 100+ years? Yeah, they will destroy you. You better ask about it. They will destroy you, and you will look like a mere shadow of what you used to be.
You never existed.
Hello.
And that's pretty much it. Like, it's probably more additional stuff that goes into whatever it is that they're talking about at the end. But man, the point of the matter is that Myron Gaines, Amroth Foodle, he was the one that was being talked about the entire time, and he could not say anything because he was the butt of the joke. He is. Like, he's literally the rear end of the joke. And I and many others do not feel bad for him whatsoever. His co-host told him right there in front of his face. He said, "You brought it on yourself." He didn't say he literally brought it on himself to him, but Myron probably understands that's what it is. And I just realized this too. They got the Rumble little, I don't know what those are on the table, but it says Rumble on there because that's literally what they've been relegated to, thanks to the one that's being pointed at. Partially some of the co-hosts as well, but mainly because of Myron. That's what they've been relegated to. All they have as far as memories go with YouTube, as far as I'm concerned, is those plaques on the wall. That's just a memory, or a sign that y'all once were on the platform. Y'all lucky to even keep that. Wouldn't it be something if YouTube was to say, "Oh, we need that plaque back"? That would be petty of them, but I know they wouldn't actually do it because at the end of the day, it is what it is. But yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say as it pertains to this. Myron, this is the definition of digging your own ditch. Will this get Myron to stop talking about FBA every chance he get? Most likely not. But it's just interesting that three people who are practically buck dancers themselves in their own way was going in on the guy at the table who couldn't say anything or didn't say anything for whatever reason, because he knew that it was about him. He had to have known it was about him. And it's so interesting because when I was looking through the comments, when I retrieved this video off of X, seeing people in the comment section trying to defend Myron by talking about the other three people that was there, I was like, y'all are just as lost and confused as he is. If y'all think that Myron has some kind of an upper hand or he has some kind of high IQ. I saw that comment too. Somebody said that he had a high IQ in the triple digits. I was like, oh my God. But anyway, it is what it is. I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for actually either one of these four at the table. I just thought it was funny because you have people who the tap dancers going in on another tap dancer. This is infighting as far as I'm concerned. Leave me out of it. I'm just the spectator from the outside looking in.